AJ Doman Chevrolet be your one stop for all your business needs in 2025. Whether it's a service body, a flatbed, or a chassis for a custom upfit, we got you covered. And we know time's important, so we have a large selection of work-ready trucks on hand. AJ Doman Chevrolet, serviced in the area for over 35 years at the foot of the Morgan City Bridge in Berwick. AJ Doman Chevrolet, your business elite dealer.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Whiteside, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it. And we've been so very honored to have one representative from Terrebonne Parish School District to talk about this wonderful award that they've just been named. This is it right here. Terrebonne Parish School District is the #1 school district in the country for making the biggest reading gains among large school districts and low-income school districts. Very excited to be able to talk with Mark Torbert about that. Mark, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Mark is the Director of Child Welfare and Attendance for Terrebonne Parish School District. And Mark, tell us a little bit about you, man. You've been doing this a little bit, but for people who are behind the scenes who maybe don't know the importance of this kind of work, tell us a little bit about you and how you got to this point.
Well, started off as a special education teacher. This is my 30th year. I was an assistant principal for a few years, a principal for a few years, and then was fortunate enough to be moved into the central office in a supervisory role.
Yeah.
Stayed there as a secondary curriculum specialist, secondary supervisor.
Right.
And then I moved over to child welfare and attendance.
Okay.
So child welfare and attendance is pretty much the umbrella for, like I often say, it's everything outside of academics.
Okay.
So we
anything that's not related to academics,
pretty much
you're in charge of.
Well, I guess we're all interchangeably with academics,
Right.
but we support the mission through the nursing staff, transportation, and obviously safety.
Right.
And so there's several. I'm very fortunate to have the supporting staff that we have in our department, as well as our district, but our department for sure.
Yeah, and listen, one of those things to be able to handle this award that comes through, and well, an award in as much as being named #1, to be able to do that, you've got to be able to keep kids safe. And y'all got to do it through two of the most difficult times ever, the pandemic and then Ida.
Yes.
And that took a huge group and team effort.
Definitely.
Talk a little bit about how this parish handled that.
Well, so you're hitting some really significant times, and hopefully in our lifetimes, right? Hopefully we don't have to revisit those things.
No.
But foremost, especially with COVID, the way it affected so many people, not only from personal levels of people being ill, just from a professional standpoint.
Right.
And thankfully, having our coordinator of nursing staff, Miss Erin Klingman, she really has done a tremendous job and continue to do that with regards to keeping kids safe and keeping them on track to stay in school and to be as effective as they can. Then you had, with Ida, obviously that presented numerous challenges. From transportation, Mr. Obear in our transportation department coordinating the fleet the way he had to for evacuations and things. Right. Again, just some different moving parts. And then and also in our department too with Mr. Corey Butler, who I don't recall, Corey was in our district, but then he came back to our district. Right. I think it might have been around the Hurricane Ida timeframe. Right. So everybody contributes to help support the mission of reaching the accolades that the district is enjoying now.
Yeah, you talk about the Klingmans and the Butlers. The Klingmans for a long time, the nurses in that family, the Butlers a long time, support people, social workers. Corey's certainly one of those people.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, his dad, I believe, was a professor
taught at Nichols.
Social work, or psychology or something like that.
He was taught in sociology. He was had a PhD in sociology. Yeah. Dr. Butler, wonderful gentleman who challenged all of us in school to go and make a difference. And that's what you guys are doing. Yeah. And so it's awfully exciting. Let's talk a little bit about keeping kids safe. You guys have to find a way to have the environment safe at school for some kids who don't have a very safe environment at home.
Sure. And honestly, Keith, it's challenging enough to keep it safe, but it's also, the other piece of it is keeping inviting as well. And one of the things working with Mr. Ogeron and local companies and things that we're trying to put safety measures in play, but also keeping the campuses to where they're inviting to the families and they don't feel like they're going into a lockdown situation every day.
Right.
So that is one of the challenges. But Corey spearheads our metal detector projects. So he really works well with administrators, and I can't say enough about the administration, the faculties of each school, because it's a huge team effort.
Right.
That while I may be sitting here, but there's a lot of people that work together in order to get it accomplished.
Right.
And continue to refine that process to keep it safe as possible.
Right, and looking at what we've done, what we're doing, and what we can do.
Yes.
And it's got to be a lot of open-minded conversations and discussions. And sometimes it's about figuring out where things don't work.
Oh, yeah.
To be able to make sure things are working.
Definitely. Constant reviewing. Corey and all of us really, but Corey, like I said, Corey's our guy with the metal detectors, and then I generally work on the administrative side with the idea of truancy courts and things like that too.
Right.
And we work with the DA's office. We work with our law enforcement partners. We work with our hospital partners. I mean, so again, it's a huge team effort that on the surface it may look like there's not a lot of effort going into it, but it's all because of what's being done behind the scenes.
Yeah.
That makes it look easier than it is.
Yeah, and you don't get to be number one by accident. And
No.
so very, very exciting. Again, Jay, put it up one more time. I want people to kind of realize the importance of what Terrebonne Parish School District has been able to accomplish. They've been named #1 school district in the country for making the biggest reading gains among large school districts and low-income school districts. Being able to do that and keep them safe, thank you, Jay, keeping them safe and being able to get them to and from in a safe manner, and being able to partner, like you said, wanting to schools to be inviting. We want to make sure we're safe, but we also want to make sure that we still, I love that concept about making sure that the public and the families, the parents, are part of this, keeping them inviting, and then we want the school experience to be a really good one. I think everybody in Terrebonne Parish School District should be very, very proud of what's been accomplished, and I love the fact that we're still trying to do new things to make sure that those are working.
Yes.
So, Mark, we appreciate your part in that.
Yeah,
what
no
you do
problem.
and your team.
No problem.
And Corey as well, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
Yes.
pick on him when you get a chance.
Definitely.
Corey's a good friend of mine.
Definitely.
And I appreciate that. So tell him we talked about him quite a bit today. Mark, we thank you for your time, buddy.
Yeah, thank y'all for having us.
You got it. All right, guys, that'll do it for this particular segment. But don't go anywhere. A lot more right here on Bayou Time.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.